So, what inspired you to become a future teacher in English?
In English. All right. So one thing that inspired me to become a teacher was my teacher in high school. He is a Filipino major as well, and right now he is a SPA or the school paper advisor in Bonifacio Javier in my previous school. So becoming a Filipino teacher is actually a bit challenge for me since I don't know exactly what or how is the system in Filipino kasi sorry, since a lot of Filipinos are in line with English major, so more technically it's kind of bit hard and challenging when it comes to Filipino. So the most inspiring and um, helpful or a guide to me it was my professor. So right now he is a doctor in philosophy of education, and as well as he has a PhD in masteral education. So that's it.
Ayun, that's definitely an inspiring comment, Mr. Ricky Caballero. So, what do you think is the significance of education and training for you?
So the most kasi right now sorry, right now our education system here in the Philippines is not that quite good. However, Filipinos in the field are making it um, a possible or an accessible education for all of us. Here in Arellano University, most professors and teachers provides a lot of qualities in teaching, and I think the most qualities that a teacher can have is our core values. A teacher must be competent, have a humility, integrity, and equity in all of students, and fortitude when teaching, as well as a stewardship and making a teacher a quality having the chief's values.
Ayun, that's definitely correct answer, Mr. Ricky Caballero. So, what is the most important lesson you have learned in your training so far?
The most important thing that I've learned this third 3 years in education is that you have you are the outcome designers of the students. So you're not just a teacher, you're not just an educator, but you mold students into becoming a better version of themselves, as well as having a fun learning in the classroom.
That's definitely correct answer, Mr. Ricky Caballero. Why is it important for the students to reach their full potential?
For students to reach the fullest for their fullest potential is to enjoy and have fun in learning. So this is so important because in school a lot of students see it as like a prison or having been trapped in a room. So the significance of education in students is that to have fun so that they can enjoy while they are learning. So that's it.
That's definitely correct answer, Mr. Ricky Caballero. So, how do you think teachers can impact students' lives beyond the classroom?
That's a great question. Thanks for that. So right now, our curriculum is based on the OBE, which pertains to outcome-based education. So in the classroom where teaching starts or learning starts, you do not simply know what is the definition of a verb, a noun, but simply that is the essence of teaching. So you need, for us a teacher, future educators, we need to include that in their everyday life so that they can use it as a better person. And for example, teaching values. So a lot of values education has been taught in classrooms, but the question is, are those values seen in their everyday life? So that is the importance of a teacher or the educator to let the students apply what they have learned in real life.
That's definitely correct answer, Mr. Ricky Caballero. Why did you choose education as your field of study?
Um, I choose education as my field of study because it aligns with my passion, and that passion came from my high school. So I really wanted to have a field in journalism to better communicate and as well as express my own thoughts through writing as well as expressing it through video like this or interviews. So since um, the first choice of my college is that I wanted to become a mass com or uh, mass communication. So God has provided me a different path, which is here in education, and it also aligns it in my passion, which is the journalism. So after I graduate, I can simply apply for an SPA or a school paper advisor that that can truly align in journalism.
How has your perspective about teaching changed since you started?
All right. So people, especially here in the Philippines, most likely have a, let's say, an average respect for teachers, but most of professions seen the teachers or the educators as a low profession, especially way back then. So when an NCAI or NCEA has been the guides or has been the standard when it becomes to choosing a profession. So way back then, when you got 100, you can be an engineering, and aside from that, when you have like lower than 100, let's say 80, I think, or 90 points, you can have an education profession. So I think um, the perspective from way back then has become low when it comes to educators or teachers. And when I started by now, I seen that educator is more than just teaching. So um, it's a way or a guide to every students to be feel included, acknowledged, um, be seen, and become a, what do you call that? Yeah, it just simply means that becoming, when I started, it just this simply means that we are becoming a guide to all of our students to be better and to be a good citizens here in the Philippines. So
That's definitely correct answer, Mr. Ricky Caballero. So, to the next question, what teaching strategies are you most excited to apply in the future when you become a fourth year student?
yeah. Um, there are no specific teaching strategies in education that I like, because all of those teaching strategies are effective and efficient as well. However, I really wanted to emphasize our OBE, the outcome based education, that when you learn something, you have to apply it. So I have this mantra all around me that says, natutunan mo ang isang bagay kapag kaya mo na itong i-apply sa totoong buhay. So that simply means that when you learn, you have to apply it in your everyday life. So it becomes more impactful and you can use those learnings in all of different areas in your life. So I think that is the most best teaching strategies that you can ever do in a classroom. You need to able to provide or give the students to apply their learnings in their everyday life.
That's definitely correct answer, Mr. Ricky Caballero. So, what's your perspective about this quotation? The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet by Aristotle.
Um, can you
The roots of the roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet by Aristotle. That quotation is from Aristotle.
Okay, that's a great quotation by Aristotle. So when we say the roots are bitter, um, the foundation of uh, let's simply put that in the classroom. So every student has different roots. So the roots means having a foundation, and that foundation comes from their personalities and most especially in their houses or their families. So let's just be real. Here in the Philippines, a lot of us has a challenge in our families. Having a cultured Filipino family is kind of bit hard and difficult, most especially us Gen Zs, because sometimes the roots or our families don't know what we are thinking or they don't understand us. So when we are in the classroom, students are in the classrooms, us teachers are the molders or we guide them on what values are they going to incorporate in their everyday life, and those values makes the students a good fruit. So I think that is the essence of the quotation of Mr. Aristotle, that the roots are bitter and the fruit is good.
The fruit is sweet.
The fruit is sweet, sorry.
The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet.
Yeah. So that's how we integrate ourselves as educators in their lives to change their lives not only in their perspectives in the classroom as well as in education.
That's very precise and comprehensive answer, Mr. Ricky Caballero. So, what's your philosophy in life? And how that philosophy makes you a good person?
Yeah. Just as like I've said earlier, my mantra was my mantra is um, natutunan mo ang isang bagay kapag kaya mo na itong i-apply sa totoong buhay. Kaya, so, um, that mantra still integrates in my values since high school up until right now in third year college. So, that quotation or that philosophy not only improves in my values but as well as in teaching uh, in my teaching career as well, and being good or applying the values that I've learned in the classrooms or with our professors makes me a good person because as I've said, natutunan mo ang isang bagay kapag kaya mo na itong i-apply sa totoong buhay. That's it.
That's definitely correct answer, Mr. Ricky Caballero. What does this College of Education party mean to you?
Hmm. Yeah. So that's kind of bit um, for some of us has a lot of works, busy in their houses, and their jobs. For some of us, but this College of Education closing part means that it is important for us to have a strong and happy camaraderie for everyone to know the educators, the future educators in line from first year up until fourth year. But however, I can only see most of us first, second, and third years. Oh, yeah, fourth years. And most of the fourth years are kind of busy, so I totally understand them. And this not only emphasizes our camaraderie, but as well as the participation, and being active in school, knowing each other, and having some quality time after a long semestrals. So that's it.
That's definitely correct answer, Mr. Ricky Caballero. So, if teaching were a party team, what would it be and why?
Mm, party thing. I think if teaching is a party thing, it would be games. So games in a party are seen as fun, engaging, and makes the students makes the participants active. So just like in teaching or in education, when we incorporate games or we make our teachings more fun, engaging, and active, most students are willing or eager to learn more.
That's definitely correct answer, Mr. Ricky Caballero. To the next question, how do you balance academic responsibilities and enjoying events like this?
Okay. So balancing academic responsibilities and enjoying events like this. Personally, it's all about time management and communication. So you can balance your academic and like this event. So for me, way back then, I have work. Right now, I've just resigned. So I have work, I have studies, and I have an organization before. So making all those commitments is really important. So time management is really important, not only to manage your day, to manage your months, but as well as communicating with the people involved in those events. So, for example, here our call time was 1 p.m. Since I have some important things that we at our house, I've communicated with our president, and right now I can now enjoy the event um, without compromising the important thing that I have in our house.
That's a good answer, Mr. Ricky Caballero. So to our next question, if you were to describe your journey in education using one word, what would it be?
So, doon, so if I were to describe my journey in education, it would be uh, hmm, challenging. So not only a challenge for each and every one of us to stand in front of students, but it is also a challenge for ourselves to know what our fullest potentials in not only in teaching but also in learning while having students to teach. So I think that is the one word that I can describe in my journey uh, throughout this stay here in Arellano.
And that's definitely correct answer, Mr. Ricky Caballero. So, who is your role model in teaching and why?
So a lot of uh, people or individuals, national or international, has been a great example in the field of teaching. And I really would want to emphasize that my role model in teaching is our late Dean, Dean Duluan. So recently she just passed away, and the reason why she's my role model is that she learns as well as continue her teaching career even though she has concerns in her health. So nothing can ever uh, be a barrier or can hinder her from teaching. So I really love her teaching and her passion in educating teach students. I mean, to be a great educators like us. So even though we don't have her now, but all of the teachings and the values that she incorporated in ourselves was a great and an excellent example to be a role model.
That's definitely correct answer, Mr. Ricky Caballero. So, if you could teach any subject without limits, what would it be?
If I could teach one subject without limits, that would be values, and I will emphasize to be grateful. So being grateful in every aspects of our life is that being thankful or grateful for what you have. So what you have is already enough, and you just need to be grateful. And I can teach that to any of my students without any limits.
That's definitely correct answer, Mr. Ricky Caballero. The next question is, what kind of teacher do you want to become in the future?
The teacher that I want to become the future would be an outcome based um, teacher or educator that I can apply or I can show the students how to apply the learnings in their life as well as to engage my students in a fun and active classroom. So that's how I want to become in the future.
That's definitely an inspiring comment, Mr. Ricky Caballero. To the next question, to the next, complete this sentence. A true teacher is someone who.
A true teacher is someone who molds and guides as well as change uh, the student's life. So I think that is the complete for me, that is the complete sentence for this, since a teacher is not only just teaching, but as well as making our students to be better or to have changed their lives, especially here in the Philippines. So that is the true teacher that I wanted to emphasize as well.
Yun, that's definitely correct answer, Mr. Ricky. To our last additional question, what motivation can you give to your fellow future educators to pursue their dreams of becoming teacher?
All right, that's a great question. So there's a lot of quotations that I can say, and most of educators or students who are taking bachelor in education uh, can teach in high school, and most of students as well don't want to pursue their educator's career. So I can only give a quotation that goes like, I really wanted to emphasize, be part of the solution and not a problem. So here in the Philippines, most especially in our education system, there are flaws. There are a lot of concerns, issues, and problems. So as future educators, we need to be part of that for the solution of those concerns here in the education system. So that's it.
And thank you for all your wonderful answers, Mr. Ricky Caballero. Kaway-kaway naman kayo.
Thank you. Thank you, Sed.
God bless and keep soaring high. Bye.
Goodbye, guys.